All right, welcome to another episode of the Thought Leadership Podcast and live show. Today it's episode 31, and I'm here with Natasha. Great to see you, Natasha. Thank you for being on the show.
Hi, thank you. I'm already feeling like a good
Yeah,
energy and good vibe.
amazing.
Excited for this.
Wonderful. I'm so happy to have you on. And for the ones who haven't seen Natasha yet, she is an absolute expert when it comes to PR and visibility. She helps thought leaders to get, on articles, on podcasts. She supports them to really find that visibility that sometimes is missing, because as a thought leader, you are so good in your expertise, you're so good at helping people and creating transformation, but then comes the question of how do I get visibility? And the visibility that comes with going out and hard closing or funnels and all that, it doesn't feel always right, because if you're an expert and if you're like 5-10 years in, you want to be able to do something more sophisticated, something elegant, and I think media and PR allows that to come in. So Natasha, thanks you for so much for bringing that value to our community. They will love this show. They have so many questions about this, so I'm so happy to have you on. And Natasha, can you just say a bit more about your background? Like, can you tell a bit a short background? What is it that you do? How do you work with clients?
Right. So I have a PR agency, and there's a little team of small and mighty team of the cheerleaders for the thought leaders in the market. So we work with anyone who the policy is just we work with anyone who makes lives of others better. So there can be thought leaders in spirituality, conscious business, in fitness and like healthy livings, in sexuality. So like all different kinds of topics. Like it's kind of, if you're making lives of others better, that's my personal passion. I wanna help spread those ideas. And on a background side, I used to be a journalist. I think I've always been in this situation where I was like a communicator, like a talker, a speaker next to the people who are doing transformation. I grew up in a family of two psychologists.
Wow.
So, but I was a journalist, and I majored in journalism, and I was always in this world of personal transformation and finding the way to send out those messages in the most efficient way. So it's gone through like all different stages. Being a journalist, being like I organized a lot of public speaking events. I worked in Mind Valley as a marketer behind the amazing thought leaders and amazing transformational teachers. And right now, the current stage is a PR agency. That this is just a stage. I think it's always like the mission is there. The mission is to spread the amazing ideas and help the amazing people to be heard, seen, and recognized. And it's just throughout the life, it's just taken different formats.
Amazing. And what I love about your mission, and that's something that we really share in our academy, is that you have really strong values that who you work with. And I saw some posts that you were writing about, the type of people that you like working with. Can you share a bit more about your dream clients? Because I know that you're a lot about, people who actually stand out and do something different, which is thought leadership for me, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. The thought leaders is a dream client. I've been in the world of personal growth for so long that sometimes it maybe like inside this world, some ideas don't seem revolutionary anymore. But my ideal clients, I guess, the people who go out and send those ideas to to don't preach to the converted, to spread those ideas to the masses. And they are I worked with different level of people, like coaches who are just started and they've been getting the media, even for those who are just at the beginning of their path. I've worked with some transformational leaders who being on TV like while I was in kindergarten still, and have like a really long lasting history behind that. So I'd say the thought leaders and people who are like so passionate about their topic that that they cannot just go on a day without researching, digging, and that I keep on finding more and more about their particular niche. That's also the kind of people that I work with.
Amazing. And I love that because thought leadership can be such a buzzword. You know, we talk about like being an expert in the field, but to be a real thought leader, to be a real someone, like you have to be able to stand out and say that I'm ready to take a path that no one else have taken, and I'm ready to stand out, and I'm ready to be different, because otherwise it just becomes a word, you know, it's not, it becomes just mainstream. So it's, I love your mission, and that's why I'm also having you on the show, because we can 100% align us with that, because we all have this special message, right? But you need to be able to be brave enough to go out and share that, you know, and say that, well, actually, I don't agree about that, or I do agree about it, and I want to add this.
It's funny, 2013, I think, Forbes magazine called thought leadership the most annoying buzzword in the business world, because it also gets abused so much, you know. It's that's why my passion lies with people who are super dedicated to their mission, who are in there for the mission, the, you know, the rebels, the renegades, the, you know,
that's great.
The goosebump, the swim against the current kind of people. And it's, as you say, there's a lot of bravery. I would say, it's a kind of a messages where, when it's scary, you're like, am I gonna get told off for that? Are people gonna look weird at me? That's probably, you know, towards the right direction.
Yeah, it's starting to get exciting, you know, when you're actually, you know, like you're almost like, I met some real thought leaders in the space of content creation, and they were some of the first one that started, you know, being on LinkedIn, and it was really new a couple of years ago. And they said that when they wrote their messages, they will go under the table and just like, or just kind of hide, and like they publish, and then like almost on the edge of uncomfortable, because there's a vulnerability that comes with that. Like, this is really what I have to say. And those people, those are the ones who took off, you know? So absolutely, you have to be, it's a lot about bravery. And I love that. Amazing. So let's just get to a couple of, you know, tips and advice that you can give to these people, because the people who are in our academy, I mean, those are the real superheroes. And I know that they have so much to offer, and they are getting, you know, a couple of podcasts and getting some, you know, like conferences, stuff like that. But the overall idea of PR media, it just feels so big and also a bit confusing, you know? So if we just start from like baby steps, someone wanting to share their message, someone who has something to say that is like, I'm ready to go out in the world and really share what I have to say, and I want to be able to work with, you know, PR media, leverage that. How do you start? Where do you start?
Right. There are two kinds of way to get to media. One is proactive and one is reactive. So like one where you reach out to like research and reach out to people actively, and you kind of take an active role in there. And the other one where you search for the call outs, and I can share like places where people can find the media call outs and just be quick and be helpful and share their expertise in there. So I guess, which one should we go?
So let's start with the one which is the proactive. And
proactive.
So let's say I want to start. What do I do?
Okay. So the process is actually incredibly simple, but it's quite, it might be kind of some time required to look into it. So it's all starts with, of course, you and your message, and what is the message that you want to share? What is the, you know, what is the bold new idea that you want to bring out? And so think about it like this. If you you have a message, and think about the journalist, the editor, someone like a third party with the audience and the reach, they are on lookout for the message. They are on the lookout, like this is a long their everyday question, like what am I gonna put on the pages? And when I put it on the pages, is it gonna be hitting my goals? Is it gonna be bringing traffic? Is it gonna be getting people interested? Is it gonna, you know, speak to my existing audience, or is it gonna piss off my existing audience? Is it gonna evoke emotions? So course, it's a one-to-one transaction with the gatekeeper, in this case, a journalist or an editor. You gotta really go into thinking like they think, thinking what kind of problems are they solving daily, and what kind of challenges are they facing. Thinking about their needs, such as just filling up the content schedule, speaking to their audience, but also bringing something new, exciting, engaging to their audience. That's if you help them to solve these needs, that's probably going to be like a plus for you. So now let's look into how can you solve those needs.
Yes.
Right. So I guess let's talk about 3 types of pitches that you could do. Before we talk about 3 types of pitches, a step back is of course the throughout research on who seems to be the person who is covering your particular area, and not to be just empty words. I'm gonna give example of how detailed it could be. So we were working with a client, amazing author, she's a Hay House author for spirituality, and she's like a channeler, spiritual coach, and she wrote a book. So in this area, you can go so broad, you can go to people who are writing about meditation. We can go to people who are writing about self-help, self-discovery, the spiritual experiences. So and we really wanted to get into psychology today. So hours and hours of research over psychology today, and all the people who contribute to psychology today, got us to this guy. I'm not gonna name him, to this writer, and his niche was super niche. He actually was really interested in about those experiences of spiritual awakening. And he was kind of in between of 2 worlds of a classical psychology and therapy, and and understanding the world of spirituality and spiritual awakening, and he was kind of a translator between the 2, and he was writing the personal story. So that was
Yes.
in a whole world of we knew that this guy needs us.
Yes.
Basically he needed this story, and you can pitch so many kind of close ones, in betweens ones,
Yes.
this guy, this one writes about meditation, but there we knew it was 100% fit. So it's a big investment into research, but it of course it paid off, because
Yes.
not only the story was a great fit for him, it was also something new for him. He likes to write about the spiritual awakening, and most of the people that he talked with were over 50, and our client that we represented, she was in her 20s, and it was also a new angle for him. So
Perfect.
anyway, that really, I just wanted to give an example of you going deep into the research and finding people who gonna be there right for your story.
Yes.
Then there are a lot of ways to connect with them. Actually, you'd be surprised that a lot of writers, contributors, and people who are who make media their job, day-to-day job, they would make their contacts, contact emails, publicly available more often than not.
Right.
Yeah, you think that it's a big hunt, but no, it's actually just demonstrates that they are always on a lookout for a story. And often Twitter is a pretty niche social media. I don't know so many people who are on Twitter, but for the media industry, for journalists, that's a social network where everyone is. And if you're looking for let's say a journalist, reporter from a particular area, let's say I don't know, the British Columbia in Canada, you go on few media magazine in the British Columbia area, and you see who are they following, and usually they would follow their staff writers and few public personalities, and you go on the staff writers, and most of them, I'd say 70%, a good 70% would say for for pitches, hit me up here, and like
Yes.
you'd be able to either tweet to them or send them the email, because they want it. They like,
Amazing.
if this is the fit, they
Yeah.
want you.
I love that. So if we, I mean, there's so much golden advice here. So if we just kind of sum it up, this section, what I see is that if someone is listening to this or watching this, if you want to go on media, you have to get in you have to see it from their point of view. And this is something I always tell them when they're going on speaking. If you want to speak on the stage, or if they want to be in the podcast, and media is the same, is that you have to get in the position of what are they living right now as a journalist, as someone public in this space. What do they need? They need a story in that space. So of course, if you come in and you are all like me, well, their job is on the table if they're going to get you on, if it's all going to be, so it has to also be completely aligned. So I mean, when someone is doing this, always think about what's in it for them.
Yeah.
Having you on,
Yeah.
it's not only what's in it for you, but what's in it for them having you on, and then going deep into that, sub category, either on Google or on Twitter. Something I've heard earlier before, when I was doing Sebastian's, my partner's film, I was many years ago, I was on Twitter lots of time, and I saw how fast you could get actually a connection with with the right journalist. I mean, it takes time, and this is why someone who's a thought leader, they cannot always do it themselves, because it's really time consuming, and they're experts like yourself that are there to support you, so you can focus on delivering and not focusing on searching all these things that will take up too much of your time. Amazing. So if we go to the other direction, then if this is the proactive, how does the reactive mode look like?
Sure. For the reactive mode, that's a little bit easier, a little bit less time consuming, requires a little bit less research, but maybe fast reactions. So there are a couple of places where journalists who are in need of of expert tips and expert advice go to. So another thing to understand about journalists is like from the times when I was a journalist myself, you cannot really print whatever you want. Like for pretty much the big need, for every word you need to have a proof, you need to have like a verifiable source, you need to have someone to refer to. So you cannot say, I don't know, simple thing like, orange juice is good for you. You have to say, according to XYZ study, orange juice is good for you. Or according to XYZ expert, this XYZ qualification, orange juice is good for you. So, I mean, I'm giving a silly example,
amazing
but you get the idea, right? So the need, the often they would like already have like a full story written, and they're like, I need someone to comment about like this particular thing. I need to have an expert who would verify my assumptions, my facts, and answer the questions basically. So the two top places that I'd recommend for that, first of all, it's Haro. It's Help a Reporter Out. So that's something for you to Google. Help a Reporter. It's a free resource where anyone can create a profile. What they're gonna do is they're gonna send you 3 emails a day with different journalist queries. And if you say you're in business, then you can select, and they're gonna send you queries on business. And then your job becomes to check them quickly, and if there is something relevant, to reply them right away. Speed matters a lot in the world of media. The turnarounds are quite often like really, really quick. They need to have a story by the particular date and time. They cannot have an empty page. So it's quite often is the first the first one who gets a reply in, they would win. And of course the speed and relevance.
Amazing.
And and the second place for so Hara is a little bit more better known. Second place for this reactive kind of PR pitching is it's also on Twitter. It's a hashtag that's called journal request. So this one is mostly used in UK. The UK journalists use journal request. Works the same. They would just go on Twitter and they would be like, hey, I'm looking for an expert in, I don't know, taking cold showers. I'm looking for an expert in parenting. I'm looking for an expert in relationships for questions and so on and so on. So, you know, they would usually tell you right away, how do they want to be contacted? Do they want you to send you to send them a DM, or do you want them to send you send them an email? So that's also pretty easy. So in my case, my team would check those 3 times a day, the Harrows and the journey request. And that's like a really easy way to just get your name into sometimes like a really good and quality media.
Amazing. And that's again, so speed is important, Harrow, and we'll put the links below, harrow.com. Is that right?
I think it's called helpareporter.com.
Okay, great. So that one we're going to put in the link below, and then Twitter, really great advice, hashtag journal request, specifically
journal.
Journal. Yeah.
Journal, not journal. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes. And we're going to put that as well in the description below, so you can check it out and get started and get familiar with the concept, because it's good to also, even if you are going to outsource that, even if you're going to work with someone like Natasha, it's so important to understand what's happening behind the scenes. So you can also do your part, because as much as you can do, you know, the preparation, the whole pitching and preparing the pitch, they also have to come with their own messages. And the more you understand where this is going, the more you can collaborate for sure. And so my last question for you is really about, let's say that you get into, you know, proactive mode or reactive mode with your PR, and you get a story and you get a chance to be, you know, in the press or TV or any publications. How do you leverage that? Because there's one thing of, you know, getting on something like that, but there's a whole process of, what do I do with that? Why does it matter so much? And how do I use it in the best way? Do you have any advice on that?
Well, I think that's actually something, the question that you should ask yourself before you get into any of that. Like, what is the reason behind behind you wanting press? And there could be several several reasons and compartments. So in some cases, it's also a traffic source. It's not it's never your primary source of traffic. It's something that's going to be additional to usually your paid channels, social channels. But you know, that can be a traffic source. But I think that's a traffic source that goes more to like maybe digital media, you know, the podcast and all of that. Then what's really big about media is the authority. Right. So anyone can post on Instagram, anyone can post on LinkedIn. Not everyone can be on Psychology Today. Right. So that's instantly brings you to the next level against, you know, the competitors. So in your niche. So it's really about leveraging the authority piece in your marketing. And people do like a lot of different things with it, from like updating their bios. So it's, you know, becomes visible, like, you know, I'm like featured on XYZ, to updating their websites, to really like doing the clippings from the interviews and using it even in their advertising. Like, for example, even the paid ads can go to can like feature you being interviewed. A lot of people also go for media tour when they want to really upgrade their trust and their relationship with their customers. And for example, when they want to raise the prices. Another good reasons would be not that much into B2C and B2C. It's more like in the B2B, like when you want to attract investors, when you want to when you want to make some partnerships. So like sometimes people come to us, for example, podcasters sometimes, and they come to us and they're like, I want to have a sponsor for my podcast. Can you guys feature me in 3 publications? Can you feature me in top podcast lists in like three different publications, so I can demonstrate it to my sponsors, so I can get more sponsorship. So those are different ways, but it plays towards your authority, towards your credibility. towards the trust level that the audience or the partners have to you, and that's something that can be used in like every stage of your marketing.
Amazing. So a good advice here would really to go backwards and start with the end goal in mind when you enter, when you start doing this, because it's a long-term game. It's not something that's going to happen one day, but it's also something that's going to help your brand to grow over time. And as a thought leader, your goal is not to just have, quick wins. It's about really having your mission and your passion and the project and really the purpose of why you are here, what you're creating in your life, to stand for years and impact many lives. So having that end goal in mind, saying, is this to generate more traffic? Is it to generate more, authority, so you can really get a chance to get in front of people and create the ripple effect that you want to create? Or is it more about, investors or anything else, like, raising your prices? So lots of great advice here. Natasha, this is so amazing. I think that there's so much value in what you're sharing, and I'm so grateful for you to be on the show and taking the time, because I know for sure that the people listening and watching are going to get so much value from just from what we shared here. They can already go out and start to take action. But also, as something that I always share with our community, is that you should not be doing this type of stuff yourself. The reason why is, as a thought leader, you only have 3 roles, and that is for you to be out and deliver your message to your clients, to your community, to on shows, on media, PR. Your goal is also to think and create new methods. You can be the innovator and not just, executor. And your goal is to also enroll new people into your life. So anything else should be delegated. And this is something I'm really, really passionate about, but otherwise you are not in your core mission. You're not in your zone of genius. So for people,
that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's so important to not start micromanaging and trying to do everything. You are a genius. You're a zone of genius. You're a visionary. Your role is to be out there and sharing the message.
And that's such a big job as well.
Yes.
That's where I think, all this the thought leadership as a bad reputation comes in, like when the Forbes magazine called it the most buzzy word, where people do all the around stuff, all the social media, all the promotion, all the talking and thing, but they don't do the core, very core of it, which is about research, study, development, test out new methods, live and breathe your method and improving it day by day. So that's where I think all those empty bubbles of thought leadership comes in and create the better reputation to the whole.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not for everybody, because it's a lifestyle. You like you said, you're living, you're breathing your mission. You are here because you have a message to the world, and you really truly care about changing people's life with this message. So anything that can be outsourced or delegated, I'm a huge believer that as soon as you can, get support, get people experts in their own field so they can support you. So my question to you, Natasha, is, for people who are ready to go to the next step, how can they contact you if they would like to be able to get your support?
Right. So I'm Natasha Zo. NatashaZo.com is my website. And right there you have a book a call options. My entire work is about making as many connections as possible. So, if you are just considering it, don't be shy to go and book a call. If you are just curious and not even considering it, go book a call. Even if we're not going to end up working together, I just find so much value in connecting with people on their mission, on their path. So and I always find also the different ways to connect people from my network. So I'm always growing my my network. That's why I have a very straight up and direct book a call with me option. So yes, please have it.
Amazing.
I'll be honored to talk with anyone.
That sounds great. So go and check out her website. We are going to share the link below so you can check out Natasha's website and connect with her. And my last question for you is really if there's any golden nugget that you want to share, or any last tips that you say if someone listen to this episode, is there something that they should have in mind when they're going to this?
They should have in mind that media seems like something that you do once you become famous, and once you become a household name, and then there is a place for you. In fact, there is a place in media, in the traditional media as well, in the online media as well, for lots and lots of different kinds of stories. I love the today's world because we are so much more open to people from any walks of life, from representing different communities and backgrounds. We don't only want to learn a piece of information, we want to learn something from people who are just like us. So you might be an expert, you might not be an expert, you might be very new in what you're doing, but just the story behind how you have faced some challenges and overcame them already makes your voice really valuable, and something that others need to hear. So my message would be, you don't need to wait until you're famous. In fact, that's how you become famous. And there is a space for the message that you have to share. You just gotta do your research, do your homework, and you'll definitely find it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Natasha. It was such a great gift to have you on the show and all the tips that you shared. Thank you for taking this time.
Thank you. I had lots of fun doing it.
Great. And so everyone watching this and listening to this episode, please subscribe to our channel on iTunes or on YouTube. And please comment below if you would be on media and PR, and if you would go out and share your message, what would that be about? What is that, visionary thinking that you have? If you can just write it in one short pitch, and you might not even know that, but maybe some people watching this or listening to this are in the media, and there's so many podcasters out there, the journalists looking for stories. So don't hesitate to actually share it in the comment below. What is that one line pitch that you want to have, so people can go and check out what you have to share? So thank you so much.
I like to do this. Yeah. Can I say I like to do this test? Sometimes I like to ask my clients to imagine, like, if you had a billboard on the Times Square all for you, and everyone can see it, what would be written there? What is a message that you would want to give to everyone? So would love to hear yours. So leave some comments.
Absolutely, that's a great. So what would be on your billboard? We want to hear that. So on the comments below, just share that, like, subscribe, and until next time, have a wonderful